time now. I want to thank God for Jeanette stepping in and helping us with this sound. And it's good to have a good wife. Amen. Thank God. I don't know if she's cooking today. I guess I got to do it. Y'all pray for her. Some of you missed the announcements. I guess we'll recap them on next week. But I do want to send a special shout out. He's out there and his family, Antoine, his wife Jenny, and his daughter Kamala. I believe I got all the names right. Did I do good? Amen. And y'all have to watch the daughter. I think she takes some kind of defense class. I don't want her back there kicking on no chair. But I can't speak words enough to express how Antoine and I, we work together and how much of a blessing he has been to me. Such a beautiful spirit, very humble, and sometimes he keep me straight and then sometimes I keep him straight, but that's what brothers do. And so in just a short time, I love everybody, but I've grown to have a special love for Antoine and his family. We talk about family all the time and what we're doing, what we're going to cook, how our wives get on to it. We do all that. And so, you know, you can't be transparent with everybody because it can be dangerous because everybody can't hold your transparency. But thank God that you can be open with some brothers, and so we thank God for that. So we welcome him and his family. You're always welcome here because this is God's house. Amen. And so we just thank God. He said, I'm going to be there. And so he's here. And so he's a man of his word. We thank God for him and that they had to come way from Hoover. And Pelham, is it Hoover? Pelham? Hoover? Alabaster, and so that's a long drive, and with it raining, but we thank God that they made it here safely, and we pray that the Lord return them back to their destination safely. It's preaching time, church. If you have your Bibles, let's look at the Gospel according to Luke. We'll look at the Gospel according to Luke, the 2nd chapter, and I don't know, I can still ask him, he don't mind. Tell what the weather's saying. Now we in bag. I ask this every day, and so I'm gonna ask today what the weather, because I'm gonna hurry up and hit it so we can get back to some safety zone. Amen. Is a tornado supposed to be coming? A little bit later. See, he on point. So we thank God. Luke the 2nd chapter. I want to begin reading in verse 43. Let's Luke the 2nd chapter and beginning in verse 43. If you have it, say amen. Amen. Here's the way, say wait. It reads, and when they had fulfilled the days, as they returned, the child Jesus tarried behind in Jerusalem. And Joseph and his mother knew not of it. But they, supposing him to have been in the company, went a day's journey. And they sought him among their kinsfolks and acquaintance. And when they found him not, they turned back again to Jerusalem, seeking him. And it came to pass that after 3 days they found him in the temple, sitting in the midst of the doctors, both hearing them and asking them questions. And all that heard him were astonished at his understanding and answers. And when they saw him, they were amazed. And his mother said unto him, Son, why hast thou thus dealt with us? Behold, thy father and I have sought thee sorrowing. And he said unto them, How is it that you sought me? Wish ye not that I must be about my father's business? You may be seated. I'm trying to, we have been talking for over a month and attempting to address the mind. I'm going to try to wrap it up this Sunday and move on. And so hopefully this is the benediction to talking about the mind. But it's very important to deal with the mind.
Amen. Yes, it is.
Because the mind is what controls the body.
Yes.
The mind is what dictates to us our feelings. The mind is what makes decisions.
Yes.
And so we must deal with the mind, because we need to come away from and turn a deaf ear to sugary gospels.
Yes. Amen.
To where it only makes us feel good, makes us shout and dance, but there is no change. And the only way for change, Jordan, to come about is that the mind has to change.
Yes.
The way we used to think, we should not think anymore if the Lord is transforming and renewing our mind.
Amen.
I don't know about you, but I don't want to think like old Josh used to think.
Amen.
Because old Josh will get us in trouble. But I need every day for the Lord to keep working on my mind. That might not be your testimony. You might already have all your I's dotted and all your T's crossed, but as for me, I do not, and I still need the Lord to work on my mind.
Amen.
On today, we want to talk about keep your mind on Jesus.
Amen.
Keep your mind on Jesus. I have to say this, is that when I look at many clergy and many church services, it's strange to me that we're talking about a lot of things. We're talking about economical development. We're talking about education. We're talking about social issues, and rightfully so that the church should. But you have no mention of Jesus. I'm baffled. I'm confused. Because there's a lot of preaching going on, but there's a little bit of gospel being preached. Well, what is the gospel? The gospel is he died.
Yes.
And in 3 days, he got up.
Yes.
And that he is sitting on the right hand of the Father interceding for us.
Yeah.
Y'all ain't talking to me. The gospel is he died.
Yeah.
He got up
Yes, he did.
in 3 days.
Yes, he did.
Not weary nor weak,
Yeah.
but with all power
Yes, he did.
in his hands in
Yeah.
heaven and in earth,
Yes, he did.
and now is sitting on the right hand of the Father.
Yes.
Kim, the gospel is he died.
Yeah.
Deja, he got up
Yes, he did.
in 3
Yes,
days.
he did.
Jeanette, with all power in heaven and in earth,
Yeah.
and is still alive,
Yes, he
and is
is.
sitting on the right hand of, I know y'all getting tired of it, but the gospel is he died.
Yeah.
He got up in 3 days, and now sits on the right hand of the Father.
Yeah.
Y'all don't know when to shout,
Glory.
but I can shout on those 3 points. That first of all, he died.
Yeah.
Well, why did he need to die? He died in my place, so I wouldn't have to die.
Yeah.
And then not only did he die, but he went in the grave, and I got to shout on the second point is because he got up.
Yeah.
Which means that since he got up, that resurrects me to new life. So since he got up, if I operate in his power, guess what? I can get up.
Yeah.
And not only that, I got to show enough shout that now he's still alive and that he still has me on his mind because he's talking in the Father's ear concerning me.
Glory. Hallelujah.
I can go ahead and shut it down right here because that's enough already for me is that he died.
Yeah.
Man, he got up.
Yes, he did.
He's still risen, and he's sitting on the right hand of the Father praying for me. Now listen here, I've had my mother pray for me, and God has answered prayer. I had my daddy pray for me. I've had my wife pray for me, and I can feel when they pray for me, but ain't nothing like Jesus. Y'all in here? There's nothing like Jesus praying for. That's a good God already, because God praying to God for you. For you, that I'm on the Lord's mind.
Yeah, glory.
So it's not a question whether or not we are on God's mind. The question is God on your mind?
Yeah.
And it's just not enough, man, to just keep God on your mind on Sunday.
Yeah.
But I know this, Jordan, that Christianity and the walking with the Lord is an everyday process. It's an everyday commitment. Mama, it's an everyday discipline. And the Lord, get us away from just Sunday Christianity.
Amen.
And that don't mean you got to be walking around quoting every verse out of the Bible. Every time somebody says hallelujah, you bucking. That's not what that's about. What it is about is me reading the Word of God and asking God, Lord, allow my life to line up with your will and your word. Let my mind line up, Lord. Creating me a clean heart, renewing me the right spirit. Lord, transform my mind, renew my mind, because my thoughts and actions are not right. Lord, I need you. And that's what Christianity is, Lord, me putting down what I want, me not doing what I want to do, but me doing the will of God. And can I tell you, that's what prayer is. A lot of people think prayer is just you taking your petitions to God, but I learned this, that prayer is really a sacrificing ground to where you die.
Yeah.
Come on, Josh Brown, I'm trying to where you die to your will and you pick up the will of God. That's what prayer really is. Lord, not my will, but thine will be done. This situation starts off talking about that Mary and Joseph have went to Jerusalem. Said they went, Mama, every year to celebrate the Passover feast. You know what Passover is? They're celebrating what God did for them in Egypt. Y'all gonna see the story in a minute. Well, what happened, Josh? What happened is that Pharaoh did not want to let God's people go.
Yeah.
And so God sent plagues, and some of them, even the magicians of Egypt could duplicate certain of the signs and plagues. Yeah. But can I tell you, people can only duplicate for so long.
Yeah.
See, because when something is authentic, it's gonna keep going.
Yeah.
See, because nowadays we have to separate the real from the fake.
Amen. Yeah.
And can I tell you that there are a lot of people going around and they have fake ideas. They're living a fake life. Y'all in here? Yeah. They listen to a fake gospel. Follow a fake preacher. And that's why we have so much going on, because we are failing to preach the true gospel.
Amen.
The only thing, Lace, that can save you is the gospel of Jesus Christ.
Amen.
Doctors can't do it, lawyers can't do it, the police can't do it, our government can't do it, because there's a life beyond this life.
Yes, it is.
They go to the Passover, and what they are celebrating is what God had done years ago. Is that he said, okay, Pharaoh, you keep playing. I'm going to send the death angel, and I'm going to kill the eldest child in every family. He said, so this is what I need y'all to do. He said, I need y'all to put on your clothes, put on your shoes, sacrifice the lamb, but eat in a hurry. I don't want you to sit down relaxing. He said, eat as if you're finna go traveling.
Yeah.
And he tells them to take the blood of the lamb and put it on the doorpost. He said, if you put it on the doorpost, he said, the death angel will pass over you. That it won't come in your house. Can I tell you, that's Christianity all day long.
Yeah.
That if you accept the blood of Jesus on your life, not that we won't physically die, but we won't eternally die.
Amen.
We won't spiritually die. And y'all don't know we're in the shout. But I thank God that, listen here, I don't have to die twice.
Amen.
That when this life is over, I have somewhere else to be.
Amen.
And not in hell, but with my Father where I belong.
Amen. Amen.
They went to go celebrate this Passover, rightfully so. But at this point, Jesus is 12 years old. This is his first time going. He's never participated in the Passover feast. In Jewish custom, that when you became 12 years old, you became a man, or was considered into your adulthood as a man. And so now he can go and participate. Jeanette, they get there, and there's a lot going on. Well, what's going on? It's people everywhere. People have traveled into Jerusalem. The city is crowded. They go and visit the temple so they can offer their sacrifices. It's bloody, because that's what's going on. What is going on is that they are slaughtering animals and they are throwing the blood on the mercy seat. Y'all in here? They're throwing the blood on the mercy seat of the Lord. The only thing that can atone for sin is blood has to be shed.
Yeah.
Thank God it wasn't your blood.
Amen.
Because our blood don't have no power in it.
Yeah. Not at all.
But thank God that the blood of Jesus has been said. It's a representation of the life and the sacrifice that Jesus is going to provide later on.
Amen. Amen.
Sees this. Mama says that when they fulfilled the days, they started heading back home. I preached this passage before, but in another direction, but I see that I made some errors somewhat in preaching this years ago, because in my mind, they had neglected Jesus. But that's when, as I read it this time, it was not that they didn't have Jesus on their mind, but they had Jesus on their mind in the wrong way that they assumed.
Yeah.
Lord, get us away from assumption.
Yeah.
Assumption is you thinking something to be true without no proof.
Amen.
So they leave out. And in the customary thing of how they traveled, Lace, was that when they got ready to leave, they would send the women first.
Yeah.
They sent the women because the women had the children and everything with them, and they would be tending to the children, and they would walk slower. They would travel slower than the men would. So they would send the women out early. Y'all in here?
Yes.
And the men would bring up the rear, because men have a tendency to be kind of vigorous and to walk fast and do the manly thing. And so what would happen, Mama, is that eventually by the women going so slow, not that they were wrong for going slow and tending to children and handling duties like that, that the men, as they walk, they would catch up with one another.
Yeah.
So Mary knows, Kim, that Jesus is not with her. Her assumption is, well, since Jesus has become into his manhood, maybe he's traveling with the men. I'm trying to help y'all. Y'all don't want to talk with me today, but that's all right. Mary says, well, maybe he's with Joseph. Here's Joseph traveling. He knows that Jesus is not with him. His assumption is that maybe he's with his mother. So practically, practical. And the church needs to have some practicalness to it. But sometimes, listen here, you don't need to get so practical minded that you're not spiritually minded.
Amen.
And then you don't need to get so spiritually minded that you're not practically minded. There's a balance.
Yes.
Jeanette, they meet up with each other. And I can see Mary running up on Joseph. Hey, where's Jesus? Thought Jesus was with you. I can see Joseph responding back, ho. I thought he was with you. They began to look around. So then they look around in the rest of the company. They start looking in family members' gatherings. Is Jesus here? No. Is Jesus there? No. They've looked all over. And now they said, well, Jesus is not where we are. He must be where we last seen him. Where we last seen him at. They go back to Jerusalem. It takes them a whole day. And although it's sacrificial, y'all, can I tell you that if you find yourself in life somewhere and you realize that the presence of God is not there, maybe you need to get from where you are so you can get back in the presence of the Lord. Now, don't get so super spiritual that you think that just because you're in the presence of the Lord that there won't be trouble. See, because a lot of people think that Christianity means the absence of trouble, but it's not. Matter of fact, when you gave your life to the Lord, look, you signed on for some trouble. Folks ain't gonna like you because you don't act like what they act like. Folks gonna hate on you because they see the light shining in your life. Folks ain't gonna like the way you think because they're wicked. So when you're thinking about the things of God, your mindset ain't gonna line up with their mindset. And so they ain't gonna like you because you don't fit in. But who wants to fit in? I want to fit in with God rather than fitting in with people. Because people don't have no heaven nor no hell to put me in.
Amen.
The problem with their mindset is this. If you read the beginning of Luke chapter 2, is that they have forgotten about the prophetic. What are you talking about, Josh? First of all now, Mary, an angel showed up to you 12 years ago and told you that you were going to have a child where you didn't need man's help. He said, listen here, the Holy Spirit is going to overshadow you and you are going to become pregnant with child. Mary, you must have forgot. Don't know? Joseph, you were going to put Mary away because now she's pregnant. You were thinking, hey man, I gotta get rid of her. It's a scandal. And it is. And an angel came to you. Preach, Josh, I'm trying. And told you, listen here now, what you're considering, don't do it. Because the Holy Ghost did this. So don't put her away. This is from the Holy Ghost, and name him Jesus. He was about to put her away, Evan, because there was scandal. Now Joseph is a righteous man within his town. He's devout. You even see it here. He's devout because he does the things that he's supposed to do. He goes to the ceremonies that he's supposed to participate in. Did y'all forget? What the Lord has already said.
Yes.
They were under scandal because the folk were like, look out, man. Now, first of all, here's the scandal. Now they're saying now, one of y'all did something wrong. Now, Joseph, you're supposed to be devout, you're supposed to be righteous. Now, either you just slept with Mary before y'all got married. You're wrong. Or either, Mary, you ain't really a virgin. You done tipped out on Joseph. Y'all in here? And so there is a scandal. But here's the problem with the mindset that even the people in their community, mama, had forgotten, man, about the prophetic.
Amen.
Well, in the Old Testament, it promised Jesus.
Yeah.
And it said that he would be born of a virgin.
Yeah.
They have even forgotten the prophetic. Lord, get us away from church that have forgotten what God has already said. And that's why you shouldn't be embarrassed when God is blessing you. All it is God fulfilling the prophetic that is already in your life. You got to keep your mind on Jesus.
Amen.
You know, they had forgotten the prophetic. I know that she was pondering it. It says that Mary Abbott was always pondering the things that had been said. But if you look right before that, even after Jesus is born, in the beginning of this chapter, when they show up to present Jesus, as they should, to have him circumcised, to present the sacrifices, here comes an old man named Simeon.
Yeah.
Simeon says, "Mommy, I can finally die.
Hallelujah.
Because God had promised me that I would not die until I seen the consolation of Israel be born."
Yeah.
Let's see that.
Preach it.
See, sometimes you need to listen to your elders. If that wasn't enough, Evan, after Simeon goes off, say, here comes Anna.
Glory to God.
A widow, she never hardly leaves the temple. She's always in there fasting and praying. She comes up glorifying the Lord. And Mary and Joseph are looking at each other like, what's going on? Had you forgotten the prophetic that has already been spoken about?
Yeah.
They go back to find Jesus. Get back to Jerusalem. They looked before they left. They looked in the camps of their families and their friends. Can't find him. So he must be back in Jerusalem. Let's head back to Jerusalem. They're worried now because the Bible said they anxiously are looking for him. They're worried. And then they get back to Jerusalem and they look amongst the people. They can't find him. Here's our point. A lot of times we're looking for Jesus where he is not. Look, you got to have your own personal
Yes, yes you do.
relationship with the Lord.
Yes you do.
Your mama can't do it for you. Your daddy can't do it for you. Your pastor can't do it for you. You have to have your own relationship
Yes.
with the Lord. See, we in this text because if we be truthful, if we be transparent, all of us have tried everything else first
Yeah.
before we ever tried the Lord.
Yeah.
We didn't try drinking, we didn't try drugs, we didn't try y'all in here, y'all ain't gonna talk to me, I know it. But I'll go ahead and talk about it. We tried a whole lot of things. We tried to rap music, we tried to go to the clubs, we tried to dance, we hung out, we smoked, we done all of these things, and guess what? There still was a void.
Amen.
But you know why? Because Jesus is not there.
Amen.
And when we sing that, hey, he ain't there. He ain't right there. I'm still alone. I'm still worried. Ain't none of this helping me. All it's doing is making me sicker and sicker. And finally you come to your mind, let me go to the Lord's house.
Amen. Amen.
Some had to snap in their mind. So you know what? Let's go to the temple. They show back up to the temple and they see Jesus. Now his mother somewhat scolds him. She asks him, now why have you done this to us? We've been looking everywhere for you. I like Jesus. Because this is how God sometimes, a lot of times operate, mama, is that he'll answer your question with a question. But in his questioning, there's the answer.
Amen.
He'll answer your question with a question, Deja. But in his question, the answer is right there. He says, why were you seeking me? Why were you looking for me? What he was really asking them, Abby, is, why were you looking for me in all these other places? Did you not know that I would be in my Father's house? Some versions say, did you not know that I would be about my Father's business? He said, that's where I'm always at. If you want to get acquainted and get together with Jesus, get about the Father's business. You'll find him there.
Oh, yes.
He says, did you not know that I would be doing the will of my Father? See, the reason why a lot of us miss the Lord is because we're not doing the will of the Lord.
Amen.
If you want to really be beside Jesus, if you really want the Lord to be in front of you, get about doing the will of God.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you he'll be right there.
Yes, he is.
You ever get gloomy sometimes. You ever get tough sometimes. Yeah, you'll cry sometimes. Yeah, you'll scratch your head sometimes. But the difference is Jesus is with me.
Yeah.
And if he's with me, everything is going to be all right. He says, they found him. Watch this. After 3 days. I'm going to come on around to them 3 days in a minute. After 3 days, it took them 3 days to find him. Y'all know 3 days is significant. After 3 days, they found him. Jesus, where you been? Why did you treat us like this? Listen, did you not know that I will be in my Father's house? Can I tell you that a lot of people think we're crazy because we show up here? But rightfully so, because the Lord is here. We know that God is everywhere at all times. But there's a special presence in the Lord's house. You can come in his house and be weary and wounded and walk out healed. Y'all ain't get that. Mama, you can walk in his house worried and confused and walk out with clarity of mind. Jeanette, you can walk in his house with a broken heart and you can walk out with a new hope. Y'all in here, you can walk in here a sinner and walk out of here a saint. You can walk out of here an alcoholic. You can walk in here an alcoholic and walk out of here fully recovered. That's what he does, Antoine, in his house. He said, did you not know I'll be in my Father's house? I'm finna get out y'all way. Y'all just keep them 3 days in your mind. Hills told him Morgan says, Mama, that we missed the miracle reading the miracle. Kim, here's the miracle, is that when Jesus said what he said to his parents, and he wasn't being disrespectful, is that yet and still they didn't understand fully. Watch this though. He still went with them.
Yes.
Dr. Monty, I'm gonna get y'all one day to where y'all know when to shout.
Yeah.
Jordan, they didn't fully understand about Jesus.
Yeah.
They didn't really all the way understand what Jesus was talking about. But he still went with them.
Amen. Yeah.
Deja. They were like, man, Jesus, what are you talking about? We don't fully understand. But Jesus still went with them.
Yeah.
Jeanette, they didn't understand fully what Jesus was talking about. But he still went with them. I'm going to shout myself. I don't fully understand Jesus.
Yeah.
But he still goes with me. He walks with me and he talks with me. And he's always calling me his own. I don't deserve for him to go with me. But yet and still he goes with me everywhere I go. All on the job, all on the highway. He's yet and still with me. Although I'm undeserving, he still gives me his grace and his mercy. He gives me his joy. He gives me his peace. He still goes with me. I don't know about your testimony, but everywhere I've been, in prison, out of prison, in hospital, everywhere I've been, he's been with me.
Amen. Always.
Said he found him in 3 days.
Yes. Thank you, Father. Always with you. Thank you, Lord.
Well, Lord, you hid before
Thank you, Lord.
for 3 days. They crucified you on Friday.
Yeah.
They spit on you. They beat you up bad. Couldn't even humanly recognize him. They plucked his beard from his face. The most excruciating pain that man can feel. The cross is designed to where your body fights against the body. That every breath he took was excruciating because that's what it causes. It causes asphyxiation. And every breath he took, he had to lift himself up just to breathe, and it hurt him. Well, why did you do it, Lord? You did it for me. You had Josh Brown on your mind when you did. You had Jocelyn on your mind. You had a Miss Collins on your mind. You had a Lace on your mind. You had a Kamala on your mind when you stood there and hung on the cross. Here's what I like about him, David. They couldn't kill him. He stood there, and although they thought he was weak and they could take it, like they couldn't kill him, they said he gave up the ghost. Hung his head, and he died. Shoved him in a borrowed tomb. Yeah, he didn't need his own tomb. He only needed a borrowed tomb because he had planned on in 3 days. I'm getting back up. I don't just need to borrow your tomb right now. I don't need it because I'm a risen Savior. I'm alive. So in 3 days, get your mind on Jesus.
Yeah.
Don't forget what he's already promised. You know, he talks about his Father's house. I believe it's somewhere in John. He says, in my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. He said, but I'm going to prepare a place for you, that where I am, ye may be also. We got a lot of trouble in this world, but I'm looking forward to being with the Savior.
Yes.
Don't have to worry about getting no flu no more. Don't worry about having to go and punch in at the foundry no more. Don't have to worry about no headaches no more. Don't have to worry about no bills no more. Don't have to worry about raising no children no more. There's going to be nothing but praising and blessing the name in my Father's house. Even says in the 23rd of Psalms, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever.
Amen.
You can't wrap your mind around forever. Why just stop trying to keep up with forever? It don't stop. Keep your mind on Jesus.
Amen. Amen.
Talk with him.
Yes.
Read with him. Meditate on him.
Yeah.
You want to know what's going to help our society? You want to know what's going to help our children? You want to know what will deliver us? Jesus. Ain't nothing else. The government ain't going to do it. The president ain't going to do it. Jesus. Jesus in the morning. Jesus in the noonday. Jesus when the sun goes down. Jesus forever and forever. Every knee shall bow, every tongue shall confess that Jesus Christ is Lord. We're going to praise him forever and ever. That's how good he is. Keep your mind on Jesus.
Yes.
The doors of the church are open.
Amen.
If you haven't made that decision, you can make it today.
Yes.
You're looking for a church home and God has led you here, you can make that decision. We don't do pressure tactics here. Be led of the Lord. Keep your mind on Jesus.
Amen.
I know that if you keep your mind on him everywhere you go,
Oh, yeah.
Lord, I'm trying to track you because I want to be where you are.
Yeah.
Keep your mind on him. The doors of the church are open.